you own an outdoor business, you've got what you think is a great product, service, or opportunity for new customers, and your current customers tell you that what you offer is fantastic. You're delighted, and yet you've still got a problem in your business. The problem is you just can't find enough new customers. And then when you do find them, well, they make a purchase, and then what? That's the topic of today's Business of the Outdoors podcast from myself, Rob Yates, and Mr. Mark Hopkins, my amazing business partner. And we want to help you think about who your customer is, how they are, and what it is that they would like next from you. Mr. Hopkins, how's the We Get Outdoors week been for yourself?
It has been probably a little bit of a recovery week, if I'm honest. Having spent 5 days at sea, it's taken me a few days to get my land legs back.
So you've been wobbly?
It's a little bit swaying. You know those feelings when you're sat in a restaurant and you're literally just doing this and everything else is staying the same, but your whole body's all over the place.
And what were you doing at sea?
I was doing my RYA, which is the Royal Yacht Association day skipper course. So I'm now a fully qualified day skipper.
Woo! See, hiker and sailor now, not just hiker anymore.
Exactly. 2 strings to this bow. We'll get a third soon.
Fantastic. So we're talking about customers. And Mark, you've spent most of your professional life working in the sales environment, helping build sales structures and marketing structures and increasing the quantity of sales volume that businesses get. What are a couple of the things that you've learned around customers and their behaviors and sales cycles that you think are really relevant to the outdoor business owner?
The first thing is how stupid and short-sighted most salespeople are.
Tell me more.
So they spend, I think, again, a lot of it is because of how companies are rewarded, to be honest. They spend so much time and effort on acquiring a customer. So they literally pull out all the stops in order to get that customer to engage with them. And then once that customer has engaged and purchased from them, they completely forget about them and try and find the next customer. And they haven't worked out that once you've got a customer into your business, you've basically done 95% of all the hard work, and all it takes to retain them and keep them spending more money is that 5%. And I see this time and time again. Like I said, the stupidity and short-sightedness of salespeople who are their ego drives them so much around how many new customers they have, and they completely forget about how much money they're actually making.
Yeah. And as you said, getting a customer to be a customer for the first time really is 90 to 95% of all your time, your effort, your money. It is the hard bit. And yet it's really interesting that when both of us are probably looking at, with our 16 interviews with outdoor business owners, we're probably looking at 50 or 60 different outdoor business websites a week. And what often strikes me is that there's a logical first purchase that I may well be interested in making. But actually beyond that, a second more significant purchase or a journey with that firm isn't easily available. What you're describing is actually, I think, how most outdoor businesses have structured themselves. They've got the perfect stove that they sell, but when they've sold it once, well, what else does the customer do other than share it with their friends and hopefully encourage their friends to use it? And it almost feels like the businesses are missing turning that person into a repeat customer who's going to buy every year a different product from you for the next 10 to 20 years.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it, and we've talked about this a bit before, a lot of it is driven by greed. And I think it's driven by how much money can I make off this one customer today? Full stop. That's it. And they look at that. Instead of going, how much money can I make off the lifetime of this client? Or how can I get this client to spend as much money with me as humanly possible in this engagement? And I remember, I forgot which book it was. There was a book I was reading. I think it was like something called Say or Strive for No or something like that. And there was a story of this sales assistant and this sales guru. And the guru went into the shop and to observe the sales assistant. And the sales assistant, this customer came in, and this sales assistant just ringed this customer, got them to buy a shirt, a tie, shoes, suit, literally. And he racked up this massive bill. And the customer walked out, and the sales assistant walked up, and his chest was out. He was so proud of himself. And he went to the sales guru and he said, that was probably the most amazing thing you've ever seen, isn't it? And the sales guru said, no, you forgot to get the customer to say no. You missed out on a sale. He got so wowed by the size of how much he was spending, he never actually pushed the customer enough till the customer said, no, I don't want to spend any more.
Yeah. It's interesting when a customer has engaged with you for the first time and they've got a product and hopefully you've done everything in your power to wow them. And they then go and use the product or the service, or they take their learning, or they share their guided holiday photos, or whatever it may well be. That person at that point in time, when they're at the peak of that emotional wow, is ready and willing to buy from you again and buy the next step up from you almost, if you make it available and if you make it easy for them and you flatter their ego and whatever else. And usually, in my experience, once somebody's had a purchase from you, their next purchase, they're often likely to spend double what they spent the first time, but you don't have any sales or marketing expense attached to that because, of course, you've already done all that work. You've already done all that sales and marketing work. So it's often that second, third, fourth, and fifth purchase where all the money is for a customer. And I'm just thinking, Mark, have you seen many outdoor businesses in the past few weeks that have a system or a structure in place for themselves where they can make a purchase into a logical next purchase, into a logical next purchase, so on and so forth?
I think in the last week, I probably looked at, 30 or 40 outdoor businesses in the last week, and I found none. And in the last month, I found one. One business where, and again, it blew me away. And this business, I think, they started off with $500, and this business now is a multi-million-dollar outdoor business. So I'm not the cleverest human being, but I don't know tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of outdoor businesses that are multi-million-dollar outdoor businesses. But I know one that does that and is. So by purely thinking about the stats, it might be a good idea.
Yeah. I often think that, as outdoor business owners, we set up a business out of passion. And so let's say we set up a ski guiding business, just as an example of an outdoor business we could set up. And we think that the best skiing on planet Earth that everybody should experience is in, in Norway, just as a place, or Patagonia. It doesn't really matter. And we've got our head and our heart set on taking people there, even though the price ticket's going to be $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 for that 1 week experience. And then we go to a whole load of customers and say to them, you don't know me, but I'm going to offer you a wow experience. And it is wow. And all you've got to do is part with $25,000. Now, if I was to ask any one of those people listening or watching, or Mark yourself even, if you don't know somebody and they said, here's wow, but you don't know me, you don't know the business, and I'd like $25,000 or $10,000, what's the likelihood of you purchasing?
I wouldn't give them $10 or $25, let alone $10,000 or $25,000.
Okay, so let's flip that. Let's go and say then that the skiing in Patagonia was at the top of a load of stairs, and a business owner was to come to you with a how to self-run your own skiing holiday in Patagonia $50 package. Would you be interested in that?
With some testimonials, being a cynical human being that I am, with some testimonials and a language that really solved the problem for me, then I would consider that. Yeah.
Cool. So we've now got Mark into our business. He's actually stepped forward and he's done the hardest thing to get any person to do, and that's swipe their credit card and actually make a purchase with real money that they've paid tax on and earned. But are you, Mark, are you ready now to go and spend $25,000 or $10,000 on that week in Patagonia with us?
Not yet.
So if I was to guess, how about, Mark, you could come skiing at your local ski resort with me or one of my representatives for $200 for the day in the next few weeks. And we'll share with you even more insights about Patagonia, teach you the tricks of skiing you need to specifically learn to be safe and happy in Patagonia, and spend some time with us. How does that sound or feel?
Considering that the $50 I spent was quite good value for money and I learned some stuff, I'm willing to spend a bit more with you.
Awesome. And so we're taking Mark on a customer journey. Now, it probably would have cost us the $50 in marketing to go and get Mark to buy the $50 design your own ski trip to Patagonia products. And it's a bit counterintuitive because some people will actually go and take your advice and self-build their own ski trip to Patagonia. However, Mark, how much time do you have to self-build a ski trip to Patagonia?
I probably could sacrifice my picking my nose time.
So what's that, 36 seconds a day?
Yeah, 35.
35 seconds a day. So Mark, like most human beings out there, has the intent on going to Patagonia. He has an idea that he'd like to self-organize it. However, the reality is that he's probably not going to find the time to get it all organized. And actually, his Patagonia ski trip could be 2 years away by the time he's dealt with all the logistics, had a hotel rip him off for $1,000, and so on and so forth. And, you know, Mark, after that day, you've had a wow day. Is that $10,000 experience just getting slightly more tempting to you when I say, do you know what? Actually, November the 4th this year, you can have your dream trip to Patagonia, and we'll do everything for you. The only thing you have to do is get yourself to the airport, your local airport.
So the answer is yes. So I'm going to tell you practically a practical example of how that worked.
You mean you've fallen for it?
Yes and no. So this day skipper is a really good example of exactly what you're. And the reason I'm saying yes and no is I basically told the guy what you're talking about. He didn't sell it to me, so I was consulting him. But it started off with a course. So we did an online course. Then we did a classroom course, upsell to a classroom course. Then we did the day skipper, the 5-day practical day skipper, and had an incredible experience with the instructor. And at the end of that, I went to the instructor and I said, do you not think you would want to offer us yourself to deliver our boat for us? And he goes, well, that's quite a good idea. Do you want me to skip it? Be your delivery skipper? So it practically, and again, exactly what it was. And so the value is going to go from a online course, let's say that's $100, to a 1-day face-to-face course, call that $300, to a 5-day residential course, call that $5,000, to us paying for his flight to Europe for a training delivery skipper for 3 to 4 weeks. So that's a practical example that happened last week of exactly what you're saying. The difference was I had to tell him what to do.
That's it. And so the magic thing that we're actually talking about here, there's one word, I think, and that is that it's all about trust. So somebody has to trust you enough to buy your first step in your staircase of products, if we want to think about it as a staircase. And that first product should, when they purchase it, should go and elevate or increase that level of trust that they have in you, in your brand, in your business, in what you do, what you stand for, so on and so forth. And when you've got that person trusts you enough to go and spend a bigger chunk of change with you. And then we go and offer more value, increase more trust, and go upwards. And I really wonder what would happen to outdoor businesses if they took that approach. Because I'm pretty sure that you could do that with everything from wood stoves to RVs, to guided experiences, to holidays, if you just stopped and thought long enough about what my customer would really like from me in their trusted journey with me.
So I think it's cool. There's two things that outdoor business owners need to recognize really, really quickly. And they're probably one is the biggest blocker that they have to success, and two is something they probably have to think about a little bit differently. The first blocker, which you mentioned earlier, is you don't always earn the profit that you want off the lowest end product. So your staircase analogy. Outdoor business owners have to get over the fact that they might not make 50%, 70% margin, that actually breaking even at your lowest level product is a good result. That's the first thing. The second thing is, if you are able to get over that emotional hurdle of breaking even at your first level product, you have to change your mindset around the concept of post-sales. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of business owners hear about the concept called post-sales, and that you can look at it two ways. One is, how do you service your product to your customer? But we look at post-sales completely differently and so much broader, which is, what do you want the experience, i.e. the trust that you've talked about, Rob? How do you want to build up the trust ongoing in that customer over a longer period of time that gets them spending more money, which has a massively higher profit? There's two practical things that business owners need to overcome in order to take their business first. So stop being greedy, and you're not going to earn as much money as you think at your bottom level product. Just accept it, get over it, and move on. And extend your engagement with your customers after they purchase with you. Those are my two top tips.
It's funny, I consulted in a business in North America last year, and before COVID, so early last year. And the guy had 12,000 customers, new customers, come through his business every year. Most of them came via Groupon, which pretty much means you reduce what you charge by half, and then you give Groupon half of that half, which really means you make 25% of what you would normally charge for the same service. And he's struggling to make more than $40,000 a year. And I was like, you what? You've got 12,000 customers and you're making less than $40,000 a year. So you're earning less than $4 per customer and working your ass off and giving them 2 to 3 hour experiences. I mean, that makes no sense. And I said to him, when they've been to you once on their Groupon experience, how many people repurchase from you and come back and spend a day, or just come and spend another 3 hours? And the answer was a few hundred. Jeez. And I said, well, what's the strategy? What's the game plan? What's the idea to infuse these people to get them to come back? And he's like, oh, well, I've got a 1-day program, so I thought I could give them another discount. And I was like, no, don't give them another discount. Like, they don't need another discount. They've spent 3 hours with you. They love your business. They love your staff. They love the location. They love the activity. And now they're ready to spend. All we've got to be is brave enough to say, hey, what are you doing in 3 weeks' time? We've got a day-long version of this that's this on steroids, and it costs whatever it may well cost. And there's so many outdoor businesses out there using things like Groupon, seeing that they're sat on a gold mine of a database of tens of thousands of customers, and yet they're still only making 40 grand a year, 50 grand a year, or something like that. And I have to be honest, Mark, there is no reason why a small outdoor business with one owner and 5 part-time employees, why that owner can't be making upwards of $200,000 a year for working just one season. There is no reason in the slightest, other than we don't really understand what our customer wants, who they are, and how we can actually bravely sell them onwards on a progressive journey with us.
So if, Rob, there are people listening to this who want to call us out on bullshit, or are now going, shit, you guys are right. I cannot believe I haven't taken these tens of thousands of customers and turned my business into a $200,000 profit business. What should they do next to get in touch with us?
So, step one is they could waste endless hours on Google finding bullshit answers out for themselves that won't really help them. That's an option. Option two is if you want to have a completely free of charge consultation with Mark and myself for about an hour or so to seek some advice, to maybe ask for more support going forwards, or just to get your burning question answered, then you can click on the link below in the description, and that goes through to our diary or our schedule, and you can book some time. We don't have that much time available, so we probably do 2 or 3, maybe 4 of these calls a week. So go book yourself some time and jump on a call with us and call us out on this and tell us we're talking nonsense. And then the first thing I'll ask was, what was your net profit last year? And if it's less than $250,000, then maybe we need to have a different conversation. Let's help you help yourself build a journey for your customers where they are always looking to spend more money with you.
Cool.
That's it. So that's it from us. That's it from this week's Outdoor Business podcast. I hope it's been useful. I hope it's been insightful. Click the link below. Grow your business. Stay awesome. Mark and I are really, really passionate about helping outdoor passionate people grow exciting businesses to have even more exciting lives. Thanks for your time, and we will see you very soon. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this with all of your friends. Bye-bye.
Bye.